All right, today we are going to be looking at Seneca's letter to Lucilius, letter 3, which is called Untrue and False Friendship. This is a good one where he really goes into what it is to have a good friend and how you should consider your friends. So let's jump right into it. He says in verse 1, "You have sent a letter to me through the hand of a, quote, friend of yours, as you call him, and in your very next sentence you warn me not to discuss with him all the matters that concern you, saying that even you yourself are not accustomed to do this." In other words, you have in the same letter affirmed and denied that he is your friend. Okay, so he doesn't mince words here. He's like, look, dude, why are you saying this guy's your friend? All right. And then you're telling me not to discuss your personal matters with him, and that you don't even discuss your personal matters with him. Is this guy really a friend? Like, this doesn't make much sense. So let's read on. So in verse 2, he says, "Now, if you use this word of ours in the popular sense and called him a, quote, friend, in the same way in which we speak of all candidates for election as honorable gentlemen, and as we greet all men whom we meet casually, if their name slips us for the moment with the salutation, 'My dear sir,' so be it. But if you consider any man a friend whom you do not trust as you trust yourself, you're mightily mistaken, and you do not sufficiently understand what true friendship means. Indeed, I would have you discuss everything with a friend, but first of all, discuss the man himself. When friendship is settled, you must trust, but before friendship is formed, you must pass judgment." Okay, so let's break this down before we get too far into here. So what he's saying is he's saying, look, if you're just saying friend as in, is in the same way that you greet people just as a polite term, right? Then that's fine. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Oh yeah, this is our friend. Sure, that's fine. But I don't think that's what you're saying. I think this guy you truly consider to be a friend. And if that's so, then there's a problem here because you don't really understand what it means to be a friend, right? He says here that you should trust a friend as you trust yourself, which is true. Right? This is a tall order. Most people don't have this kind of level of scrutiny of their friends, but it is important because I'll tell you this, is that the friends that you're around will determine who you become. You've heard probably the saying that you are the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. And I can tell you, if you have bad friends, you will have a bad life. If you have good friends, you will have a good life. You will start to become like your friends. And so this is why this is so important. Why would you have someone as a friend that you don't trust? Okay. And then he said that I would have you discuss everything with a friend. But first of all, he's going to say, discuss the man himself. So let's dive back into that. He says, when friendship is settled, you must trust. Before friendship is formed, you must pass judgment. Those persons indeed put last first and confound their duties, who violating the rules of Theophrastus, judge a man after they have made him their friend instead of making him their friend after they have judged him. All right. So what's he saying here? He's saying, look, when someone is a candidate to being a friend, you need to judge them carefully, right? A lot of people are like, oh, I don't judge people. No, you need to judge someone if you're going to bring them into your inner circle. Because the thing is, once they're a friend of yours, they're going to be like you. You're going to tell them all your secrets. You're going to share everything with them. And he's going to go on to say more about this, but you should really consider them trustworthy. And if you don't, then don't have them be your friend. So most people, he said, have it backwards. They have it ass backwards. They literally allow people to become their friends and then make the judgment afterwards, which is not correct. All right. Then he says here, okay, those persons indeed, okay, we talked about that. Okay. Ponder for a long time whether you shall admit a given person to your friendship, but when you have decided to admit him, welcome him with all your heart and soul, speak as boldly with him as yourself. So again, he's saying, be careful about this, right? But if you do, then you treat this person as 100%. You trust him 100%. You don't hold back. You speak with them as boldly as you would yourself. You don't hold back any secrets. In verse 3, he says, as to yourself, although you should live in such a way that you trust your own self with nothing which you could not entrust even to your enemy, yet since certain matters occur which convention keeps secret, you should share with a friend at least all your worries and reflections. So what is he saying here? He's saying, look, okay, you should basically be living in such a way that if your enemies knew your darkest secrets, it wouldn't hurt you, right? You should be transparent. You should be living in a way that you're so proud of the way that you're living and you're hiding nothing, being so transparent that your enemies could know all the information. But however, it's not conventional to like let everyone know all of your business, right? So in that case, at least your friend should know that business, right? All right, so then he says here, regard him as loyal, and you will make him loyal. Some, for example, fearing to be deceived, have taught men to deceive. By their suspicions, they have given their friend the right to do wrong. Why need I keep back any words in the presence of my friend? Why should I not regard myself as alone when in his company? So this one is real simple. He's saying, look, if you treat someone like they're untrustworthy, they might become untrustworthy. If you treat someone as deceitful, they might become deceitful. If you treat someone like they're cheating on you, they might start cheating on you. Now, why is this? Well, because they're going to say, well, I might as well, because I'm not giving the credit anyway. I'm being accused of this thing anyway, so I might as well do the thing I'm being accused of. Now, does this make it right? It doesn't make it right. However, it is human nature, and you need to be aware of that. And so you could actually cause someone to become deceitful. He's saying, for fearing to be deceived, they've taught men to deceive. All right? And so he's saying, you shouldn't have to keep back any words in the presence of your friend, right? You should regard yourself as alone in his company, and that's the bar. And if you can't do that, that person should not be your friend. In verse 4, he says, there is a class of men who communicate to anyone whom they meet matters which should be revealed to friends alone and unload upon the chance listener whatever irks them, right? So you know this kind of people, right? The people that just share too much. They share every detail with you. It's not good. It makes you feel uncomfortable. Others, again, fear to confide in their closest intimates. And if it were possible, they would not even trust themselves, bearing their secrets deep in their heart. So then there's other people who just don't trust anyone at all. And you can never even really get to know them. You've probably met these kind of people. They just don't share anything that is really personal, and it just there's something off about them, right? I have several of these people that I have met that it's like I couldn't truly be a friend with this person because they're so guarded, right? They wouldn't even trust themselves. But we should do neither. It is equally faulty to trust everyone and to trust no one. Okay, so don't do either of those things. Yet the former fault is, I should say, more ingenuous. So if you're trusting everyone, it's really ingenuous. You come across as a very ingenuous person, okay? And then he says the latter is more safe. So, it's more safe to trust no one, of course, but, it's not good to be ingenuous or to be someone who is just worried about their safety all the time. All right. Now, in verse 5, he's gonna talk about a few different things here. He's switching subjects, so it can be a little bit confusing, but he says, in like manner, so he's saying, okay, so just like I told you this, all right, you should rebuke these two kinds of men. All right, so now he's talking about two different kinds of men, right? This is where it's a little confusing. But both those who always lack repose and those who are always in repose. So what does repose mean? It means being in tranquility, peaceful. It means not doing a whole lot of stuff, right? At peace, okay? So he's saying you should rebuke these two kinds of men, both those who always lack repose, who are never taking a rest, who are never at peace, that are just always going, and those who are always in repose. So those who are always lazy, right? They're lazy people, right? For the love of bustle is not industry. So working more does not mean you're being productive. Just because you're running around doesn't mean you're actually accomplishing something. It is only the restlessness of a hunted mind. Okay, so you just because someone is doing a bunch of stuff doesn't mean that they've got it figured out. They could just have a hunted mind, that they're just all over the place. And true repose does not consist in condemning all motion as merely vexation. That kind of repose is slackness and inertia. So he's saying, if you're truly at peace, right, and the goal of stoicism is tranquility. But if you're truly at peace, you're not going to say everything that every action is vexation. Like, I'm at peace. I can't work. I can't do anything. He's saying that is slackness and inertia. He's basically saying that's lazy, right? That's being lazy. All right. And in verse 6, he says, therefore, you should note the following saying taken from my reading in Pomponius. Okay, so he quotes other people. Here he says, quote, some men shrink into dark corners to such a degree that they see darkly by day. So men should combine these tendencies, and he who reposes should act, and he who acts should take repose. Discuss the problem with nature. She will tell you that she has created both day and night. So what he's saying is simply this. Look, some people, they get so in their ways that they're always in their ways. They retreat into a dark cave where they're always busy. or they're always lazy. And he's saying, look, some people should be switching it, right? If you're busy too much, you should take some rest. And if you're resting too much and being too lazy, you should get to work, right? And he's saying, discuss the problem with nature, right? She created both day and night. So he's saying there's a time and a place for everything. There's a day and a night. There's a time to work. There's a time to rest. But you have to do both of those things. I will see you tomorrow.